Welcome to the Transparent FX Academy. In this video, I'll speak about USDCAD. And as usual, to keep the video as educational as possible, first I'll cover the technical aspect for this market. Then we will be moving to the order flow by looking at the commitment of traders, which is what the big players in the market are doing and how they're moving and shifting their orders, which you see right here. And by the end of the video, by using the combination of these two different types of analysis, we will try to understand where we have the highest probabilities for the next potential move here for this pair. So this is definitely a video you do not want to miss. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Starting here from the monthly time frame, what we can see is that the market for quite some time has been in an uptrend. More precisely, it has been creating higher lows, more or less respecting this trend line. So we currently are at a higher low area. The market has already created a higher low, and usually after the creation of a higher low, the market tries going higher, because if a higher low is created, it means that buyers are still in control of the market. And we will be looking at whether or not institutions are currently buying USDCAD with the creation of this higher low in just a few moments when we move to the commitment of traders analysis. But for now, let's keep in mind that on the monthly, we are at a higher low area. The market has already started creating the higher low, and we're currently having the possibility of seeing more bullish price action being created away from this monthly demand and support zone. Dropping down on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now here on the weekly, we can notice a perfect inversion of trend. The market went from the creation of weekly lower lows and lower highs to then seeing this triple bottom created exactly at this level. We can see three lows created exactly here. Now what we're seeing is the perfect inversion of the trend, because now we're seeing the creation of the first higher high, the first higher low, and the next logical step would be to see the creation of yet another weekly higher high. That would mark the successful completion and shift from the weekly bearish trend to the weekly bullish trend, with this triple bottom being the inversion pattern of this change of trend. Here on the weekly, the situation is quite clear. Now, if we have to really identify exactly the structure and where we have previous resistance turn support, that would be at this level, because this is the previous level of weekly support turned resistance here, here, and here, which then after the market broke it to the upside was turned against support here and now here. So in a situation like this, more bullish price action could be expected away from this previous weekly resistance turned support. And that is pretty much how you would expect an ideal inversion of trend to actually play out. You expect the market to first break below the previous low, then you expect that previous low, which was previous support, to be acting as resistance, and if the downtrend in this case is to continue, you expect the market to create new lower lows. But if you see a triple bottom being created, as we're seeing right here, and then a break above, at that point you expect again the retest of the previous resistance turn support and the rejection to the upside away from this level. So here in the weekly, everything is quite clear. Let's keep in mind that we are rejecting support and drop down on the daily time frame. Now from a daily perspective, I spoke about USDCAD just a few days ago. I spoke about it when the market was here, and I explained all the reasons for which I was expecting this rejection to the upside, and that is in fact exactly what the market did. And by the way, I will link in the description that previous analysis, so you can go and check it out for more free education. But at the moment, what do we have? Well, before we dig deeper here on the daily time frame, first let's go and see what we have when it comes to the commitment of traders, so what the big players in the market are doing. Now, if we look at the data for the CAD, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is that by looking at the CAD, we're looking at CAD USD. So we simply have to reverse everything that we read here for CAD USD, since we're analyzing USD CAD. And what we can see here is that institutions have been shorting the CAD. And if institutions are shorting the CAD, they are longing USD CAD, obviously. So what we can see here is that that net positions, in fact, went from minus 53K at the high all the way down to minus 108K. This means that institutions overall have been increasing their shorts aggressively on the CAD, going from 78K shorts all the way up to 127K shorts. So institutions are currently aggressively shorting the CAD. We currently have 127,000 shorts compared to only 18,000 longs, which means that institutions are longing USDCAD aggressively because they are shorting the CAD. So let's keep in mind that institutions, by shorting the CAD, are aggressively longing USDCAD and move back to the chart. And by the way, if you still haven't, make sure that you join my free Telegram channel, which you'll find linked in the description so you never miss new updates. Now back to the analysis. So here on the daily time frame, what we can see is that the market is currently testing previous daily resistance from which this rejection to the downside was created, which is now turned support here. Now, until the market will remain above this previous resistance turned support, there is good probability of seeing more institutional buying inside of this area, further increasing the probabilities of a potential rejection to the upside away from this level. We can also keep in mind that as we have an impulse and correction, if we want to measure this correction, we have to take our Fibonacci from the low to the high of the impulse leg, which shows us how we have 50%, 0.618 and 0.786 Fibonacci retracements lining up exactly with that previous level of daily resistance, now turned support. This creates confluence of support, and inside of a confluence of support area, there is an increased probability of seeing institutional longing. So in a situation like this, what would I expect? Well, as usual, and as my students know very well, trading is reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily time frames combined with the COT data, those are the best time frames when it comes to the directional aspect of the market. However, when it comes to identifying early shifts in the trend of a market, the best time frames for that are the intraday time frames, so 4 hour and lower. Therefore, what I would expect is that if this market would shift from an intraday bearish to bullish market, I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential rejection to the upside away from this area for the market to complete this daily impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside. That definitely wouldn't surprise me. Now, all this free education and analysis that you see me share here on YouTube is actually just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, if you want to learn more, I really suggest that you go over to the Transparent FX Trading website, which you find linked in the description. And here you will have the possibility to gain access to all my courses, which range from the very basics of trading to the more advanced topics like building automated trading systems, building a portfolio of strategies, uncorrelated strategies, and much, much more using quantitative finance tools like the Quant Analyzer. So it's really something that you cannot afford to miss. You also have the possibility to gain access to my trading station software with the Telegram notifications integrations, one-on-one mentoring directly with me for any questions you have along the way, the COT data software, which you often see me use here on my YouTube videos. The program is also an all-in-one program, so you gain access to everything immediately, including all my strategies and EAs, and you also gain access to my entertaining trading show in which I share all my trades as they're happening. Here, you will see the presentation of each and every one of my strategies with the full historical backtest and presentations of the rules of the strategy. You also, as we were speaking about, have access to the live trading show. So essentially, every trade that is taken on my live account is automatically shown here in a very entertaining fashion as they're happening. So opened, closed, managed, so you can learn even more. And as you scroll down, you will see that you have the possibility to join and gain automatically access with email and password that you will create during the registration process. So again, I really suggest you go and check it out. The link is in the description, and I will see you on your student dashboard. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to click on the like button. Also, let me know in the comments below any new pairs that you would like me to cover in my next videos. Also, any questions you have, leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss new updates, and I will see you in my next video.